So in film, wokeness currently is a problem. A problem that just won't go away. So I have seen a ton of movies. Actually, there's like 10 or 15 movies. This is all the movies basically here. But we're going over the non-woke movies because yes, not every movie in the world is woke. Not every movie is a book smart, a knock down the house, what men want, Black Christmas, Captain Marvel, or Dark Phoenix, or Men Black International, or Dark Fate, which is not on this list because I have no plans in ever watching Dark Fate. But here are 5 non-woke movies for 2019. So 2019 is considered one of the greatest years of film, except for Little Bit of Booksmart. Those are woke movies and were popped up by the woke critics. You had movies like Parasite, which I have yet to see, and of course, very recently I seen 1917. I actually owned the movie. Have you seen the unboxing video for that movie? So yep, I doing more of the unboxing video so I could have proof that I own some of these movies and so often I usually see them on TV or of course on very very rarely streaming. Okay, which again I'm against streaming. So yep, here is the 5 non-woke movies for 2019 because 2019 was the year of the woke. The first movie on the list is Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Come on, if they're gonna make Godzilla woke, film this movie, okay? Godzilla is about Godzilla, okay? If you're watching Godzilla, King of the Monsters, what do you expect? Godzilla, and that's just what you get, okay? And I don't understand the whole hate about this movie because if you're a fan of Godzilla, you watch a Godzilla movie, and what do you expect from Godzilla? Godzilla, okay? It's the name of the title, okay? But yeah, Godzilla is basically, about this group named Monarch. They have to go around, and, it's kind of like the SCP Foundation, where they go around and contain monsters, so they don't destroy the world. And this one guy said, okay, and this girl takes him and it basically said, oh, we want to take solve, the only work thing is that they want to take the monsters to solve, climate change and the global environment and stuff. But again, the global environment thing ties into the stories because eventually later on in the film you find out that these monsters are actually, integral to the world's environment. These titans are integral to the world's environment, and really, it's not really pushing an environmental message, unlike certain other movies. It is okay. It's just Godzilla. Okay, the story is a bit of like a tiny bit of an environmental message, but again, Godzilla does not exist. Rodan does not exist, so it's basically a fictional story about, stuff. And really taking care of the environment is not really that woke. Because really, when they push it, like, in Doctor Who, oh, the world's gonna end if we don't, the world's gonna be a barren desert, okay? That's doing it the woke way, okay? We're saying, hey, we need more green. Monsters make environment better. We need to help these monsters because they're important, and also because we want to see more Godzilla movies. That's the real reason why they didn't want to get rid of the Titans. Because guess what? More Godzilla movies, more good stuff. Number 2, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. John Wick Chapter 3 is an amazing movie. That's like the other 2 John Wick movies. And kind of like Godzilla, if you watch a John Wick movie, you're expecting fights, you're expecting battles, you're expecting, people dying in the movie, gunfights, crazy stunts, okay, and that's what you get, okay? When you watch a John Wick movie, what you see is what you get. You get battles, you get, gunfights, you get all the stuff that and in the other 2 John Wick movies, it's kind of like, more of the same, and that doesn't really hurt that much, and it's, it's a John Wick movie, come on, okay? And basically it's about, the movie's about the table, and the high table, they want to kill John Wick, because he does bad things, for that he does stuff that high table doesn't like, so the high table wants him gone, because he killed some of the members, and basically the high table has to go after John Wick, and he basically bites a bunch of dudes, and of course he's John Wick, he never dies, okay? They're making a 4th one as well, which probably won't be woke at all, okay? And number 3. Okay, I was gonna pick between 1917 and Midway, and 1917 is, I like Midway, but 1917 as a film is a bit better. but I like both of the movies. I like both of them. 1917 is basically about World War One. Okay, an important, and also World War Two is kind of overused for movies. That's what makes 1917 also what a flash like. Hey, it's about World War One, a war that we never make a movie about. Okay, Hollywood never makes a movie about World War One. It's always World War Two, World War Two, World War Two. Oh, let's make one World War One movie every like 5 years. Okay, hopefully this will give us more movies about the First World War, because we had so many movies about the Civil War. We had so many movies about the Vietnam War. Now we're having movies about the Afghanistan War and Iraq War, but we have like no movies about World War One, and now we finally do. And it's kind of a fresh out because we don't have any movies about World War One. And World War One, it's about a true story about basically they have to go save the army because or else they get trapped by the Germans. Typical, it's like war stuff. Okay, the Germans are setting up a trap so they can win the war. And basically, it's an important battle in World War One. Basically, it's actually before America joined World War One, or around the time America joined World War One. But yeah, this movie isn't woke at all. 1917 has no woke scenes in the movie at all. Okay, it's so non-woke that Twitter was even angry at this movie. Number 4, Joker. Yep, Joker is not woke. Okay, Joker does have political themes in the movie, but then again, you're expecting this out of an R-rated movie about a Joker who is basically a mentally unstable guy, and basically he is basically the whole point of the movie is you feel bad for Joker, okay? And there was no real woke message in the movie, okay? The only real message is that people who have mental disabilities are people and they deserve to be treated as such. Don't push them down or else they will come back to, do bad things to you, okay? Don't treat someone bad just because of their, disability. And again, and basically this takes place in the 80s, which I don't know what the economy of the 80s was like. Maybe it wasn't that great in the 80s. And it's about Gotham City, which is a fictional version of New York City. But yep, basically, Joker is treated badly by society. Society hates him. They don't like him. And basically a revolution starts against, the Ritz, which is basically a message in a lot of movies. And again, Gotham in most media is portrayed as sometimes very poor, especially in the show Gotham, where there's really extremely poor parts of Gotham in the show. So it's not surprising that, and again, this takes place before Batman, and I won't be surprised if people were really poor before Batman, okay, and people were staying at the target to get angry at because they didn't have enough money, and yep, that's basically about Joker. So Joker isn't really that woke. It does have a message, but it's not a woke message like, oh, this thing sucks, or blah blah blah, or this is bad, or don't do this, because it's a very, 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 very bad message. Okay, that's basically every woke movie in much. So don't do this, don't do that, don't be this, don't be that. But Joker doesn't do that. Just don't do bad things to people. That's basically what Joker. Joker is probably like the perfect anti-bullied movie if you really think about it, because really all this bad stuff in the Joker happens because he gets bullied throughout his life. So yeah, next movie on the list is Alita Battle Angel. Alita Battle Angel is not woke. Okay, it's based off a Japanese manga, and basically the accurate the original manga, which means yes, unlike all the other women read movies of the year, I'm looking at you, Charlie's Angels, Men in Black International, Dark Phoenix, and Captain Marvel, and Black Christmas, and etc. 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 Alita Battle Angel, out of all the women read movies, is the least woke out of all of them. Basically, they're just trying to tell a story, and basically it's based off a manga that was actually, before this movie came out, was a very obscure and unknown manga that literally nobody knew except for cyberpunk fans and, the few people who just said, oh, look, this looks cool, I'm going to read it. And yet, basically, it's about a a girl who basically can't remember anything about past life. At least it's better than Captain Marvel. Well, Alita's memory is actually battles and stuff. Well, Captain Marvel's is just men, talking down to her. Yeah, that's really Captain Marvel's memories. And if you saw the movie, saw that scene, Captain Marvel's memories are literally men telling us he can't do anything. But Alita Battle Angel, it takes place in a dystopia world, which you know it's yes, some people could say, but those hidden meanings behind the movie. Nova is a symbol for God, okay, and it's civil, and Alita is going after God, blah blah blah, okay, because he's watching over to say no, and there's another one where I came up with basically it's kind of like if technology takes over, basically if the world of technology takes over, and basically everybody it's and also there is the same rich and poor message. Basically, all the rich and privileged people live in Zalem, and all the poor people live in the Iron City, which is basically a giant. It's kind of like those one cities in in those third world countries that nobody wants to go to. Well, people don't really have anything. Okay, but yep. And basically, Alita learns more about her past in the movie, and then she realizes who she is, except for her real name, which again, see. Which again in the manga her real name is Gali, and she wants to take down Nova and Zalem at the end of the movie, and go up there and beat Nova, which is what happens in the manga anyways. So, yep, that's basically it. And then the next movie on the list. Okay, we'll go over Midway. So, Midway is a movie that was hated by the critics. Why? Probably because it wasn't woke enough for them, okay? Midway is a movie basically about, the Battle of Midway, and they tell it in a very, very historically accurate, kind of like, kind of similar to 1913, where it's kind of very historically accurate to that as well. But Midway is basically a historically accurate version of the war. The movie, and again, this is a movie that, movie bad because us critics said so. Okay, let's look at the difference between the audience score and the meta score, and the, critic score on every review of this movie. Midway is essentially, it's a very good movie. It's a very good movie. And no, I'm not gonna put it on the same level as other World War II movies such as Hacksaw Ridge, Dunkirk, and Saving Private Ryan. I'm not gonna put it on par with those movies, but it's still a pretty enjoyable movie. I don't understand the whole. And again, Midway wasn't woke at all. It was about war heroes, and it's basically a movie celebrating our war heroes that were in World War II that helped us beat Japan in World War II. And yeah, the actors are actually pretty good as well. The next movie on the list, you'll be surprised that isn't woke, is Jumanji The Next Level. Jumanji The Next Level isn't woke at all. Yeah, this is coming from Sony, of all companies. But Jumanji The Next Level didn't really have many woke scenes. The characters, it was kind of like the first movie, more of the first movie. And that's kind of what it is. It's just more of the same humor of the first movie. But the big twist now is basically one of the main characters' grandparents and his friend go into the game instead, and one of the people in the first game were kicked out of the game. And yep, they basically, have to go and save Jumanji again from these bad people. And yeah, Jumanji Next Level wasn't woke at all. It's kind of more of the same stuff. It's kind of more of the same cliches as the first movie. And I gave it on the same score as the first movie, or 8 to it says an 8 by I won't be surprised I gave that first movie a 9 out of 10 and I get this one an 8 out of 10. But it's still very solid. It's still pretty funny. Okay, it's still same movie. Okay, and yep, next movie on the list is Zombieland Double Tap. I think this goes through. I don't know if this goes through Epic or but no, I think it goes. I don't know what. I actually don't know what algorithm they use this to go through, but Zombieland Double Tap is at the bottom of this list for some reason. It's below, even though it is the bottom. It's Z as the last letter of the alphabet, but End Game. Yeah, for some reason Midway comes before Angel Has Fallen and Endgame. Yeah, I don't know what algorithm they use to go by this, but yep. Zombieland Double Tap is a very funny movie. It's Again, if you like the first movie, you'll like the second movie. It's kind of like that whole thing. If you don't like the first movie, why are you watching the second movie? It doesn't make any sense. And yeah, this movie isn't woke at all. It's the same type as a continuation of the story from the first movie, except taking place years in time, years later. And the zombies have evolved alongside the humans, making new types of zombies and destroying, and making, society harder. But again, most of the people who are still left know how to deal with zombies, so it isn't really a big issue. So yeah. So the next movie on the list, I have skipped over Shazam. Shazam isn't really that woke. There were a few woke moments there and there and there, but again, Shazam isn't really woke. Though, and Shazam is really trying to tell a good story. The humor is sometimes pretty good, and sometimes it's like a mess. But again, humor is subjective, and Shazam actually has a pretty good storyline. It's a young boy who wants to find his mother, so he is basically looking for every family who has his last name, and he has to be he finally be in a foster family, which basically is people who take in kids who are not wanted by their parents, which basically if any, basically anybody who has to be a foster person has to be with the new family, the foster family, because the parents don't really care about them. And yeah, for those types of people, yeah, it makes sense. They can probably empathize with this movie especially. But this movie is pretty great because at the end, the Billy Benson, the kid who can turn to Shazam, eventually realizes that his new family is just as great as his original mother, and he realizes that there's no point in chasing after his mother, who didn't really care about him to begin with, or else he will have gone after him and found him. So yep. And also a lot of the fight scenes are pretty good. And CGI at some points is pretty bad, but this is from DC. They haven't really mastered CGI like Marvel did. And again, Shazam only had like $100 million budget. It wasn't a amazing master budget. It wasn't, $300 million like Justice League. It was a smaller budget, so you can kind of excuse the sometimes bad CGI in this movie because it wasn't a big budget, massive, huge, gigantic budget movie. Next movie, you'll be surprised. Pokemon Detective Pikachu. Basically, this movie isn't woke. It's about Pokemon, okay? And again, I won't be surprised if Nintendo made sure this isn't woke at all, because Nintendo, they don't want anything to do with wokeness, or else they won't allow you to make a movie, okay, about it. Okay, Detective Pikachu is a very funny movie because of Ryan Reynolds. He is a comedic genius when it comes to comedy, so of course, making him as Pikachu is the funniest thing in the entire, one of the funniest things in the entire world. And yeah, probably the funniest talking animal probably since, the Ice Age movies, and probably that was the funniest thing since Tom and Jerry and Chip and Dale all the way back in the 40s and stuff. But yep, Detective Pikachu, it was a very funny movie. It's basically about Pokemon, and yep, basically the boy comes across the talking Pikachu, who happens to actually be his own partner. That's the big twist of the movie. They find, which is the big twist of the movie, and basically, yeah, there's a lot of big twists in the movie that I don't want to spoil. There's a guy that was helping him, but again, he was actually the bad guy the whole time. But yep, that's the next movie on the list. I think it's the second to last movie. Is Angel Has Fallen. Angel Has Fallen is not woke at all, and basically, Angel Has Fallen is basically Mike Banning, who is the president's, protector, is framed for the attempted assassination, even though he didn't do it. It was the bad guys, and must evade his own agency, and the FBI tries to uncover the real threat. And basically, the president is Morgan Freeman. It's basically an alternate history of America, which, it's basically, the guy who, is the protector of the president of the Secret Service agents, Mike Banning. He has to basically go into hiding until they find out the real truth, and the president, of course, pardons him because he knew he didn't do it, and it was the bad. And at the end we know who was the real bad guys of the movie. Last movie is How to Train a Dragon in the Hidden World. I think this is probably the last of the non-woke animated movies, because animation sadly is either gonna be woke and terrible, or it's going to be unfunny, garbage like Minions. Okay. And actually, Minions is not that bad, okay? I'm making out like Minions is like the worst movie ever. But How to Train Your Dragon is like pretty great ending to the How to Train Your Dragon trilogy. And yeah, I'm not gonna spoil it because it'll just ruin the whole movie. But yeah, it has a pretty great ending. Animation's actually pretty amazing, especially the Dragon World is pretty beautifully animated. That entire area is like a beautiful area. And yeah, there's some pretty great scenes in the movie and some pretty sad and touching scenes in the movie. I'm not spoiling it because it would ruin the whole movie. And yep, that's yep. And the rest of the movies on here, those woke movies. So yep, if you're sick of the wokeness in movies, and yeah, why didn't go for Endgame? Well, guess who's in the movie? Guess who's in the movie? And guess who ruined the movie? And Spider-Man Far From Home also has some woke scenes in the movie because, of course, anything. Even though I like the movie, there are some woke parts of the movie which are just pretty awkward as a whole. But Spider-Man Far From Home wasn't as woke as Endgame, but it still had a lot of woke scenes in the movie that could have been cut out of the movie. But yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home is still a pretty good Spider-Man movie. And yeah, it's not really that woke compared to, other movies. But yeah, it's just your typical Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man Far From Home Spider-Man Far From Home was extremely funny. It has an extremely great villain, which of Mysterio is probably one of the best and most underrated Marvel villains of all time. So yep, that's basically it. Oh yeah, and The Boys, that's a TV show. That's telling you. That's basically it. Goodbye.